Ladies and gentlemen, it's 6 p.m. here in Cairo. Time for the hour's news bulletin coming to you from Channel 2. This is Lamia Abdesatar, and we start with the headlines. President Sisi receives Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto at Ittihadiyya Palace. Israeli occupation seizes key Gaza corridor to expand offensive. And Iran foreign minister says seeks fair deal with U.S. in nuclear talks. Two details. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received on Saturday Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto at Ittihadiyya Palace, where an official reception was held with the two countries' anthems were played. Presidential spokesman said that the two leaders held a bilateral meeting followed by an expanded one where they discussed means of promoting joint relations in all domains. The two presidents also signed an agreement to upgrade cooperation between both countries to a strategic partnership, where they also discussed means of activating this partnership in the fields of industry, trade, investment, telecommunication, and information technology to serve sustainable development and mutual interests in both countries. The meeting also focused on ways to enhance defense cooperation through training, capacity building, and the exchange of the expertise in light of growing regional and international challenges. The meeting also discussed the latest development in the Middle East. President Sisi reviewed Egypt's efforts to reach a ceasefire agreement in Gaza and provide humanitarian aid. Both presidents stressed the necessity to begin reconstruction in the Gaza Strip without displacing its people, leading to a comprehensive and lasting solution based on the principles of international legitimacy and guaranteeing the establishment of an independent Palestinian state on the borders of 1967 with East Jerusalem as its capital. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli stated that the new Alamein city has come to feature a diverse map to touristic and urban development projects following a developmental vision that aims to make a city of the future. The Prime Minister's remarks came during an inspection tour on Saturday of a number of projects of New Alamein City. Madbouli said the tour falls within the continuous follow-up of national urban projects nationwide, pointing to the directives of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on the necessity of accelerating work rates on projects being implemented in Al Alamein City, given its great importance at the starting point for the development of the northwest coast. The Premier said the tour started with an expanded meeting to probe the executive situation of the various projects in the city. Madbouli also inspected ongoing projects to keep abreast of implementation and operation rates, stressing that this unique spot is receiving significant attention and relentless efforts are being made to maximize its promising potential, which qualifies it to attract investment activities and visitors year-round, in line with the Egyptian state's vision in this regard. Israeli occupation army said on Saturday that its forces have completed the encirclement of Gaza's Rafah, part of an announcement planned to seize more areas of the enclave, accompanied by large-scale evacuations of the population. The military has issued repeated evacuation warnings to hundreds of thousands of Palestinians across Rafah since it resumed operations in Gaza on March 18, forcing them into a diminishing space limited by the sea. Israel said on April 2nd that troops had begun seizing an area it called the Morag Axis, a reference to a former Israeli settlement once located between the cities of Rafah and Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. Israel announced on Saturday that its military had completed the takeover of a new corridor in southern Gaza, advancing its efforts to seize large parts of the war-battered Palestinian territory. The occupation forces also announced a sweeping evacuation order for tens of thousands of residents of Khan Yunis and surrounding areas in southern Gaza ahead of a planned strike after projectiles were fired from there earlier in the day. Palestinian Health Ministry said that Israeli occupation strikes across Gaza continued, killing at least 21 people in the last 24 hours. The ministry said at least 1,500 people have been killed since Israel's occupation surprise bombardment resumed the war last month. The president of the Red Cross, Mirjana Spoljaric, described the humanitarian situation in Gaza as hell on earth and warned that its field hospital will run out of supplies within 2 weeks. She said no new humanitarian supplies have entered the Palestinian enclave since Israel blocked the entry of 8 trucks on March the 2nd, as talks stalled on the next stage of a now broken truce. Israel resumed its military assault on March 18th. The Red Cross president also raised concern about the safety of humanitarian operations. She called for an immediate ceasefire in order to release the remaining hostages held by Hamas and to address grave humanitarian issues in Gaza. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Saturday his country seeks a fair and honorable deal with the United States hours before the start of talks between the two sides. He said Iran's intention is to reach a fair and honorable agreement from an equal position, and if the other side also comes from the same position, then hopefully there will be a chance for an initial understanding that will lead to a path of negotiations. Iran and the United States will hold high-level talks in Oman on Saturday aimed at jump-starting negotiations over Tehran's fast-advancing nuclear program, with U.S. President Donald Trump threatening military action if there is no deal. Iranian media said Iranian and U.S. delegations had arrived in the Omani capital, Muscat. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is leading Iran's delegation, while the talks on the U.S. side will be handled by Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff. Russia launched a barrage of drones in an overnight attack on Ukraine, injuring 4 people and damaging residential and commercial buildings in Kiev and other parts of the country. Ukrainian air forces said its air defenses shot down 56 of 88 Russian drones. It added that 24 drones were lost as the military used electronic warfare to redirect them. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said that 3 people were injured in the capital as a result of the drone attack. Drone debris also destroyed a private house and damaged several commercial buildings, causing large fires in different parts of Kiev. Kharkiv's mayor said 1 more person was wounded in the city of Kharkiv in the northeast. China's capital hunkered down on Saturday as rare typhoon-like gales swept northern regions, forcing the closure of historic sites and disrupting travel while bringing late snowfalls and hailstone showers in some areas. Windows shook and trees crashed onto footpaths and cars rocked by gusts of wind driven by a cold vortex from neighboring Mongolia that sent temperatures plunging. Beijing issued its second highest gale alert this weekend for the first time in a decade, warning 22 million residents to avoid non-essential travel as winds could potentially break April records dating from 1951. After earlier warnings, some residents said they were very nervous but still managed to get around. Sandstorms were expected to impact Shanghai from Saturday afternoon through to Sunday morning. And moving to the news of business and economy, where Khalda Petroleum Company announced its success in achieving 3 new discoveries of crude oil and gas in its concession areas in the Western Desert. In a statement on Saturday, the Ministry of Petroleum said the 3 discoveries will add a storage of 12 million barrels of oil. The ministry commended Apache Company for its contribution for these discoveries, and this promotes development in the field of natural gas and crude oil in these areas. The discoveries come within the framework of boosting production rates and exploration operations in light of Egypt's promising energy potentials. 3 international financial institutions announced $42 billion in fresh support for financially troubled Argentina, as its president said his country's economy will grow like never before. The IMF approved a new 4-year $20 billion bailout for the South American nation, as the World Bank said it would pump $12 billion into the economy. Later, American Development Bank announced plans for a $10 billion deal. The institution's board said in a statement that the figure will include an immediate first tranche of $12 billion from the IMF. IMF boss Kristalina Georgieva said the program is a vote of confidence in the government's determination to advance reforms, foster growth, and deliver high standards of living for the Argentine people.